our environment. First of all, effect of adding waste to the environment. Like we have discussed earlier, environment, that means our surroundings, the things we use from our surroundings, they all constitute together environment. But human activities produce a lot of waste materials which are thrown away into the environment, and these wastes cause pollution of air, water, and soil. We all know that we produce lots and lots of waste every day, and it's not just solid waste which harm our soil, but sewage water, used water, like we have discussed earlier. If we talk about a family, like family of 5 or 6 members, it uses around 2000 to 3000 liters of water every day. That means this much amount of waste water is produced every day. So that is just what causing pollution. And the waste materials produced are of two main types. तो आपकी ये जो human activities से जो भी waste produce होता है, we generally differentiate into two types. They are biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Let's first discuss about biodegradable waste. Biodegradable. It is formed of two words. देखिए दो words से मिलकर बना है bio and degradable. Bio means living and degradable means जो चीजें टूट जाए या जो खत्म हो जाए. So biodegradable wastes are wastes which are decomposed, which are broken down into harmless substances by living organisms. तो ऐसा waste जो आपकी environment में अपने आप means कि living organisms की help से harmless या बहुत small substances में टूट जाए, which can be used back again, यानी recycling जिसकी हो सके. That waste is biodegradable waste. और जनरली जैसे कि हम पढ़ते आए हैं, मोस्टली माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर बायोडिग्रेडेबल डिकम्पोजिंग बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट. लाइक हमने पहले भी पढ़ा था, बैक्टीरिया एंड फंगस, दीज आर व्हाट, दीज आर आल्सो कॉल्ड एज नेचर्स क्लीनर. आपके नेचर को क्लीन करने वाले भी कहलाते हैं ये. व्हाई? बिकॉज दे डिकम्पोज दीज वेस्ट मटेरियल्स इनटू हार्मलेस सब्सटेंसेस which are again taken up by plants for their growth. So this kind of waste which can be decomposed, that means this waste is not actual waste, but आपका क्योंकि अगर ज्यादा अमाउंट में हो जाए तो ये भी आपको हार्म पहुंचा सकता है, but this waste can be degraded. So this kind of waste is vegetables, fruits, pulses, cereals, cotton, jute, wool, leather, paper, animal bones or animal dung, means the waste which are actually the byproducts of the natural substances. They are biodegradable. आप लोगों ने dustbins देखे होंगे. In Panipat also there are two kind of dustbins lying on the roadside, blue and green. There are two different dustbins are for differentiating these two kind of waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. So non-biodegradable waste, ये आपका 3 वर्ड से बना है, non, bio and degradable. Non यानी जो waste living organisms की help से degrade ना हो सके, we call that kind of waste as non-biodegradable waste. So मैं आपको dustbins के बारे में बता रही थी. We use two kind of dustbins, blue and green. So आपके green dustbins होते हैं biodegradable waste के लिए, in which we generally throw wet waste. ये आपका जो fruit या vegetable waste है वो हम वहां पर throw करते हैं. And blue dustbin is for recyclable waste. ऐसी चीजें जो recycle की जा सकती है या जो degrade नहीं होती, उन्हें हम blue dustbin में डालते हैं. And these kind of waste are polythene bags, plastics, synthetic fibers, glass metals, rubber, insecticides, pesticides. But we generally talk about plastic waste because आपको पता है कि प्लास्टिक ही सबसे ज्यादा यूज किया जाता है, and सबसे ज्यादा वेस्ट भी प्लास्टिक का ही होता है. So this is the most like harmful waste or most produced waste in our environment, and that cause harm to our environment, जिसे हम हमेशा pollution की बात करते हैं. That is just because of these polythene bags and plastic products. So these are the two kind of waste. This is biodegradable waste, जिसमें आपका fruit, vegetable waste आ जाता है, and this is non-biodegradable waste, जिसमें आपकी plastic waste ये आपके इंसेक्टिसाइड, पेस्टिसाइड्स, रबर, मेटल, ये सब चीजें आ जाती है. Ecosystem and its components. First of all, ecosystem, we generally call ecosystem is the relationship between living and non-living. लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग के बीच के रिलेशनशिप को हम इकोसिस्टम कहते हैं, यानी ऐसा सिस्टम जिसमें लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग दोनों एक साथ रहते हैं, यानी दोनों एक दूसरे पर डिपेंड रहते हैं. सो एन इकोसिस्टम कंसिस्ट ऑफ ऑल द लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स in an area along with the non-living components and their interaction. So the interaction between living and non-living, the area along with this interaction is known as ecosystem. And there are two types of ecosystems, natural and artificial. Natural ecosystems, आपके forest, desert, आपके like sea or grasslands, mountains, ponds, all of these are natural ecosystems. That means made by nature or part of nature. But there are some artificial ecosystems also, means which are man-made, like gardens, aquarium, crop fields, parks, zoo. All of these are the ecosystems which are man-made. Most of the time, questions have been asked on aquarium, कि कैसे aquarium एक artificial ecosystem है. ठीक है, so aquarium is also an example of artificial ecosystem because what we do there, we actually put some fishes, that means living organisms, along with the non-living components. हम वहाँ पर water, even air sparger भी लगाते ताकि air mix होती रहे. We also provide food, or we keep on changing water after a certain period. That means all living and non-living, they are also living together in an aquarium. So this is an example of artificial ecosystem. Aapke gardens, parks, zoo, all of these are artificial ecosystems. Okay. Now let's discuss about components of an ecosystem. So like you have done in your geography part also, an ecosystem consists of two main components. They are biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. तो जैसा कि हमने पढ़ा कि जब आपकी इकोसिस्टम होता क्या है, रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन लिविंग एंड नॉन लिविंग, तो उसके कंपोनेंट्स भी यही रहेंगे, लिविंग एंड नॉन लिविंग. दैट मीन्स बायोटिक एंड अबायोटिक. ये आपने क्लास 9th में भी पढ़ा था चैप्टर नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज में. ओके, लेट्स फर्स्ट डिस्कस अबाउट बायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स. Biotic, like I told you, living. So all the living components like plants, animals, microorganisms, they all considered as biotic components. And we also differentiate them as producers, consumers, and decomposers. हम इन बायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स को प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स और माइक्रोऑर्गेनिजम्स तो कहते ही हैं, बट हम इन्हें क्लासिफाई फर्दर कर देते हैं प्रोड्यूसर्स, कंज्यूमर्स एंड डिकम्पोजर्स. प्रोड्यूसर्स यानी प्रोड्यूस करने वाले, पैदा करने वाले. सो ग्रीन प्लांट्स विच प्रोड्यूस फूड आर कॉल्ड एज प्रोड्यूसर्स. इसके अलावा आपके फाइटोप्लैंक्टन्स विच वी फाउंड इन sea or oceans, they are also considered as producers, means which produce food. Then consumers, these are the animals which actually rely on producers. तो consumers वो consume करने वाले. Okay, so these are the animals which rely on producers or which take food from producers. And then decomposers, which actually rely on the dead bodies. That means they take food from dead plants and animals, or they decompose dead plants and animals' body. Like we have discussed now, these decomposers, they are nature's cleaner, bacteria or fungus. What they do, they decompose complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances in the soil. यानी ये क्या करते हैं, ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस जो कॉम्प्लेक्स यानी जो बड़े साइज के, यानी डेड प्लांट्स, डेड बॉडीज, इनको सिंपल इनऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस में यानी आपके मिनरल्स में चेंज कर देते हैं. एंड वी फाउंड देम इन सोइल. सो क्या होता है, सोइल गेट रिप्लेनिश, सोइल के जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स है वो वापस उसमें ऐड हो जाते हैं, एंड दे आर अगेन टेकन अप बाय प्लांट्स. So these decomposers, they help in recycling of nutrients. They are also part of the biotic components. Next is abiotic components. These are the non-living components like air, water, soil, sunlight, wind. So all the non-living components are considered as abiotic. यानी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स को अपने आसपास की जगह पर या एरिया में जो भी चीजें चाहिए नॉन लिविंग, दे ऑल कंसीडर एज एबायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स.